our next guest is offering his criticism of President Biden and his administration's handling of energy prices stateside, tweeting this out, saying oil hit $113 a barrel today. To combat this, Biden announced he's releasing millions of barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Tapping the SPR is temporary relief at best. A real fix would be reversing all of his anti-energy regulations and promoting U.S. energy production. Joining us to discuss is Republican Congressman from Georgia, Austin Scott. Sir, thank you so much for coming on. Good morning to you. Clearly, it sounds like you've got a solution for the president here that you would like to propose. What do you make of how he's handled stateside, quite frankly, the U.S. and our energy production?
Hey, all of the things that are hurting Americans stateside right now, the inflation, the energy prices, the food prices, remember, everything that we buy at the grocery store goes there in a truck. And that means it requires diesel to get there. It is simply a matter of going back to the policies that were there under the Trump administration to drive down the price of a barrel of oil. And so, you know, he's got different gimmicks that the Democratic Party keeps putting out, but none of them are long-term solutions. So our energy production inside the United States is extremely important to our national security. If you look at what's happening in Europe, you think about the position that our European allies would be in if they weren't dependent on Russian energy right now. And I don't understand why President Biden wants to drive the price of a barrel of oil up, which candidly gives our enemies more money and Americans less.
You know, as we take a look at new images coming in of a damaged school in Ukraine. Again, we're learning that Russian forces going after civilian areas as opposed to just military infrastructure here. Is banning Russian oil on the table for this administration?
It should be. It certainly should be. I'll tell you, we don't need to do anything at all that helps Russia. If you look at what they've done since the price of a barrel of oil has gone up, it gave Vladimir Putin a tremendous amount of money to carry out his crimes against humanity. He was smart enough, because President Biden did not move on the intel that we had back several months ago. He was smart enough to accumulate reserves. Vladimir Putin was smart enough to accumulate reserves in his banks in Russia in foreign currency. So the attacks on the ruble, while they're hurting the Russian people right now, they have not had an impact on Putin's ability to carry out his war crimes. So we should have put the sanctions in many months ago. And unfortunately, we didn't. That was a choice that was made by President Biden not to move on the intel that we had. The intel was impeccable. And again, Americans are paying the price at the pump, and Americans are paying the price at the grocery store. But people around the world are witnessing a huge humanitarian crisis by the miscalculations of the administration.
Yeah, no doubt. As we take a look, the oil refinery in Ukraine as well, also being hit and targeted at this time. So you think about the impact that would have on the Ukrainian people as well. I'd like to get your reaction to Senator Joe Manchin. He's speaking about energy independence for the United States. Take a listen.
We're buying over 600,000 barrels a day of crude from Russia. We've been doing this for quite some time. We have to step up to the plate. That means basically reversing some of the decisions that have been made, but no leasing, not drilling, and basically cutting back. We need energy independence more now than ever before.
Now, he's also putting forth proposals that would deal with climate change as well, protecting our environment. Is it possible to do both while drilling stateside?
Absolutely, and it's been possible for a long time. The use of natural gas in school buses and vehicles that start and stop at the same place every day, that could have been done years ago. But the left has got a war on fossil fuel. And so natural gas, even though it's significantly cleaner than diesel, you know, the left has rejected that. And so there's no reason that every school bus in America, every vehicle that starts and stops at the same place, it's a government vehicle in America, couldn't be running on a cleaner burning fuel than diesel is. But that technology has been stalled because of the refusal to accept proposals that actually work from the radical left in favor of wind and solar and other things that we can't run our government off of.
We heard from President Biden just the other night during his State of the Union address talking about the state of our union. Obviously, he has an optimistic outlook. His wife, First Lady Jill Biden, also had a similar sentiment. Here's what she had to say about her husband. Take a listen.
We still have a long way to go. Our world faces incredible challenges, but things are so much better. You were right to put your faith in Joe Biden a year ago.
Well, sir, if you look at some recent polling from YouGov, CBS News, 36% of Americans say things are going pretty badly right now. 63% of Americans say the condition of the economy is also not looking so good. So there's a sense of how Americans are responding. What do you say to that?
Well, first and foremost, you know, the misinformation that's coming out of the White House is really disheartening because, you know, President Trump met with Democrats on a regular basis at the White House. I know one Republican in the House of Representatives that's actually met with President Biden since he's been sworn into office. And, you know, I mean, they're just not telling the truth. And so America is witnessing what happens in the world when we elect a pacifist to the White House, someone who doesn't make decisions based on facts, but makes decisions based on emotions. And unfortunately, not just Americans, we're paying the price with our pocketbooks and our economy, but the whole world is witnessing what happens when you have a weak president in the White House that, you know, candidly allows pariahs like Vladimir Putin to go out and do what he's doing to the people in Ukraine and around the world.
We're facing issues and challenges on the home front, and of course, Russian troops advancing in Ukraine overseas. Congressman Austin Scott joining us on the program. Congressman, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Still ahead, caught in the crossfire. The